right, so rundown. Thursday, November 30th, brought to you by C4 Energy. C4 Performance Energy, energy that hits. Look, in the gym and on the field, C4 is the choice for athletes, gym junkies, and all those who relentlessly seek better performance. Now, Fights, you're a gym guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah? I was watching Surviving Barstool with my roommate the other night, and he goes, that young man fights, has some nice muscles.
Is your roommate an 80-year-old man?
He was saying it kind of as a joke. I mean, he was serious about your muscles. He praised it. Your biceps on him. And that's all because of C4. With zero sugar, enhanced endurance, and explosive energy you can feel, C4 Performance Energy is the choice of professional athletes like Justin Fields, Garrett Wilson, CJ Stroud, and Bijan Robinson. C4 Performance Energy, energy that hits. Find the C4 yellow can at c4energy.com, or you can find it near you at findc4.com. All right, rundown. Let's start with Deion Sanders. Coworker of ours wins the Sports Illustrated Sports Person of the Year. Finished 4-8 his first season at Colorado. Didn't make a bowl game, but I don't know. I do feel like at least for those few weeks, there was some pizzazz about Colorado.
Yeah, I would say I'm not a college football guy, so I'm not going to speak too much on it. But like, no one else comes to mind where I'm like, how did so and so get robbed?
Travis Kelce.
Kelsey's a good one. Kelsey's a good one.
The way I look at this is like,
Kelsey, he's a current Super Bowl champion, right?
Yeah. Current Super Bowl champion, #1 podcast.
Yeah.
You know, depending on which way you look at ratings. Because I think we have #1 podcast. But off the field shit, Taylor Swift, like bringing people to the NFL. Like, so to your point, those 4 weeks people were talking about Colorado. Fuck ton more people were talking about him in pop culture and this and that. And like, also, it's kind of a shit show out in Colorado right now.
Yeah.
The defensive coordinator had issues with that. He's all about his sons. They kind of caused the fight at Colorado State. That game got chippy. Don't get me wrong, like his guy got cheap shotted, but I'm a college football guy. It's been a while since I like cared about Deion this season. Maybe because of the Michigan thing overwhelming. So like to me, when you're not even the biggest story in your sport, it's a tough sell. I also think they picked the fucking thing on Columbus Day. And
when's Columbus Day?
So it should have been an Italian.
Always October 6th.
October 6th. Okay. That's wild. That's so like 4 weeks into the season.
I think they pick it because they have to shoot it and do whatever.
No shit.
Columbus Day is always October 6th.
Yeah.
It's a Rico thing.
I do think, I mean, again, this is coming from someone who's not a huge college football guy. Like, I was very on the Deion hype train. I watched the first 3-4 Colorado games. So, and I think that he kind of had like maybe not. Like, I feel like at least when he started, dude, like he's changing college football. Like,
yeah, but there's this underlying thing also that the media fucking hates him.
Really?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
No shit.
He goes back at reporters a little bit.
Yeah, the reporters don't like him. He did the whole thing with Saban.
That was so weird.
So they were waiting to dunk on him at the first cause.
Yeah.
Like they loved picking him last. As soon as they start losing, this is watch the fucking like. So to me, it was kind of shocking that Sports Illustrated gave it to him.
He kind of seemed like I saw a quote from him at the end of the season that I thought was like, kind of became the villain real quick, right? Where he's like, he said something about NIL deals and how he'll just get a new offensive line or a new defensive line.
Yeah, and he told him bring the Louis.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, he said like bring your what was the quote? Bring your luggage, or I'm bringing luggage and it's Louis, meaning like I'm bringing in new guys.
Yeah.
Like you guys suck. Like that was his first introductory press conference.
Yeah, he went from the hero to kind of.
Well, he went from villain at that to hero once they beat TCU in the first week, back to kind of villainish after that.
Yeah, I feel like now he.
But I mean, I don't know how they fucking decide this, but like Times Person of the Year, like Hitler's one, so it's not like always the hero. Like it's like the person that I feel like dominated the sports headlines the most this year, which he does have a strong case for when you consider with like how much college football is changing with the NIL.
I mean, that was that first month where that video they had of like, it wasn't quite the locker room, but it was kind of like the entrance to the locker room. I think that was the Colorado game where it was like just like it was like an A-list event.
Oh yeah.
This is changing.
He did it.
Going to like a fucking Laker game.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. To my point though, college football is a long season. Yeah. I mean, it goes till past Christmas with the championship game. And it starts around Labor Day.
Which is when?
Always August 31st. So he dominated till like September 23rd or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe you could have thrown out a better always Labor Day. It's the first month. You could have went like September 5th. It's always in September.
Yeah, it is always. You're right. Yeah, September. I fucked it up. But we were closing our pool. Like, you were still wearing shorts when these games mattered. It's fucking freezing cold right now. Like, that's an eternity in the sports calendar. You know what I mean? So
I was at a bar maybe 2 weeks ago, Friday night, and I obviously hadn't kept up with Colorado, but I didn't know. I knew they weren't the hype that they were, but I didn't know where exactly they were standings-wise and things like that. And I looked up at the TV and saw they were down like 42-6 to Wazoo. And I was like, that has to be like a replay, because it was a Friday night, right?
Yeah.
I was like, they don't play on Friday nights. There's no way this is the real game. And I saw it was the real game. I was like, oh, Deion is falling on hard times.
I will say, me, Ben, Rudy, we went on the Pink Whitney tour to a Colorado game. The hype had certainly died down. We went like November 3rd, maybe. It was the most boring game I've ever. It was them versus Oregon State. We were pumped. We were like, let's fucking go. Like, we're going to like. And Boulder was sick, but we were like, this will be like the coolest game we've been to. I think we stayed a quarter. Like, this is awful.
You stayed for a quarter?
We stayed for like a quarter.
They're bad.
It was like, it was a bad game, and like it was also on national TV, so it was literally commercials every fucking. So the experience like there was not as amped up as we thought it would be.
I think they could have. I mean, to wrap it up, I think they could have waited till next year, right? So then, even though all these storylines of Lil Wayne and stuff like that happened the year before, let's say he gets them to 7-5 next year, and then it's basically like a 2-year award of like, look what he did. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now should have been Travis Kelce this year, but I'm just going to guess
Travis Kelce. Now it's like, now people care about Colorado. Like, then it makes sense. But you do it so quick, and it's like, he really dominated fucking 4 weeks of the world. Because in April and like August, when that shit was coming out, and he's running his players out of town, guys are transferring, like, it wasn't necessarily like, those weren't glory headlines. They were juicy headlines.
Yeah.
But they weren't necessarily like, and also like Sportsman of the Year, like, is it sportsmanship or is it just the guy who dominates? It's a very like whatever award. I thought Travis Kelce was a fucking no-brainer, so this one was kind of shocking.
It's also so funny when we get worked up about these every time, like, maybe you guys will be able to tell me, but I bet you wouldn't be able to tell me yesterday. Who was last year's sportsman?
We only because Clemmer researched it. Was Steph Curry.
Yeah, like it's very weird how we like get 24 hours, 48 hours jacked up. Like, what the fuck?
Well, I am 0% jacked up about this.
Yeah.
I don't care.
In a minute, it's over. Yeah, it's whatever. But you can have a take on things. Like if
that's
it's,
the beauty
put it this
of
way.
fucking Barstool Rundown.
Yes. If I didn't give a fuck about it, but now it's presented and it's a headline in the day of events.
Yeah.
All right, now I do have an opinion.
Right.
If this was not written on that screen by John Rich, I would have never uttered a word about Deion Sanders winning sports. Ryan Shazier's wife publicly outs him for having a mistress. His wife posted text messages on Instagram outing him for cheating, since deleted. Among the texts sent by Shazier were screenshots of books titled The Ultimate Guide to Anal Sex for Women, 2nd edition, and Blow by Blow, a step-by-step guide on how to give blowjobs so explosive that he will do anything for you. Shazier married his wife in 2019 following a spinal cord injury that doctors feared would leave him paralyzed. I do remember that. That was very scary. Yeah, I mean, at first, I'll be honest, Ryan Shazier cheats on his wife. I don't give a fuck. I was like, why is that even a story? Like, he's not that big. The book stuff is very fun.
The book stuff is unbelievable. The 2nd edition, where she's like, I just imagine the 1st edition she forgot to mention like douching or whatever. Enemas, not douching, enemas, where she was just like, huge caveat I forgot to say first time, girls. Fucking, you gotta put water in your asshole first.
I think you said this. Do you know how horny you have to be to like send a letter? Did you say that, or was that Francis?
I don't recall.
But like, when you think about the process of like sending a letter, like in this day and age, this guy's sending books.
Books that.
I mean, to be fair, he's not writing the book.
But not only.
He expects this girl to read the book or order it on
crazy.
Amazon. Like, that's what he's
Yeah,
getting.
he couldn't have even like sent it to her.
Maybe.
Just had it delivered to her house. He was like, here, buy this.
Like, I don't know. The book thing to me, this is hilarious. Like the element of God, like what am I gonna look up that really jacks me up?
Like
he Googles these books, and now what is his recommended history on Amazon? He's got to have some
No,
weird
that's
shit.
the twist. It's not Amazon. He's going to BarnesandNoble.com.
Oh,
They
really?
have that type of shit at Barnes and Noble.
Yeah. that was.
I mean,
that
blow
was
by blow is a
to me.
great name for a blowjob instruction.
But a blowjob book. Look, anal sex. I imagine there are some things you got to know, right? You got to learn the enemas, the go slow, all this good stuff. Blowjobs, coming from someone who's never given one but received one, are the easiest things in the world to do. Like,
I've been on the record. I'm not a huge fan of getting blowed, but they should be. So you just lick the tip. Just lick the tip. That's really all you gotta do.
Yeah, no, I think it came from there was a similar thing like this, and the guy got nailed for like sending a letter to his mistress. And like either you or Francis were kind of like, what kind of fucking guy? It's like what the fuck is going on?
Dude, I remember I've only sent a letter once. It was not sexual, but like it was like a breakup letter, and it was like me and my girlfriend had gotten this fucking blowout fight, but she was drunk, so she like passed out, and I was like, I'm just gonna I was younger, and I was like, I'm just gonna be gone. Like I'm just gonna write a letter, and I'm gonna leave and be gone. And I got like halfway through the letter. And I was like, this is the dumbest fucking shit of all time. So you have a lot of time when writing your letter to recalibrate and think everything, and to fire off a horny one. It must have been Francis. I don't recall this.
It was a definitely like headline, but just the same thing, sending books. How long was your letter, by the way?
I got about halfway through, and I just wrapped it up and got in bed with her, and we stayed together for 5 more years.
I wish Glennie Bowles was here. I was going to say 18 pages front and back. Like Ross Geller. Yeah, the books, I don't know. Like, send a video, fucking...
Dude,
Send a scene in a movie. Like, I want you to do
it like this.
Yeah. Hold on. Yeah. Like, her response would be like, you want me to read? like fuck you.
I saw, for speaking of the ultimate guide to anal sex for women, I saw a clip of the comedian Nikki Glazer the other day talking about, on some podcast, she went through a phase, might still be in the phase, I don't know, where she really liked anal sex. And she was describing the enema process and how you have to go into the bathroom, squirt water up your asshole, and this is something I didn't know. This is one of those things like maybe you're seeing how the sausage gets made, but she's like, you just have to stand in a bathroom with a butt full of water, and you have to jump like this and turn yourself into a ketchup bottle to get everything out. And I was like, I don't think I like sex anymore.
It's extremely graphic.
It's extremely graphic. I wanted to share it with all of you.
Did you guys ever get an enema?
Ever gotten an enema?
Yeah.
No.
I don't even know what the fuck you got. What, an enema? Like just water in the asshole?
Yeah.
No.
Why did you got one?
I had a bad stomach virus. They thought it was colitis, which like people only 60 or over get. They were gonna put me in a medical journal. But I was 19. I missed my brother's high school graduation. That's how bad it was. Long story short, I came home one time from the gym, and like I was watching my little brother, and he's like, "Can we go in the pool?" He's like 6 or 7. I'm like, "Not right now. Like I don't feel good." It felt like there was a knife in my fucking belly, and it started turning every 40 minutes, and it got down to every 5 minutes. And we were trying to do
labor.
We thought it was food position, or it was like everything I ate was accounted for. So like I went to the diner, I did it with my brother, so like he didn't get sick. As it turns out, it might have been like it was E. coli. But they
I've had E. coli.
They were gonna put me in a medical journal.
I had salmonella.
And then they had to like
You got the chicken version? All right.
But so they're like, you're in bad shape. We got to give you the enema. So like, all right, like try to hold it like as you can. So like the nurse or whatever shoots it. Bro, it's about 3 seconds. I'm in the hospital bed. I go, motherfucker! I'm like, I'm done. Get me out. I run to the bathroom. I'm screaming the whole time. This lady like was out. She's like, this guy's nuts.
Dude,
the fact when they told me to try and hold it, I was like, yeah, okay, pal.
Bro,
this shit's going out.
I don't think mine was an enema. Maybe it was now that you're explaining it like that. But when I had E. coli, I was very young. They put something in my ass.
Yeah.
I thought it was a pill. And they gave me exact instruction, hold it as long as you can. But I was leaving. Like it was like, I'll pop this in and you get out of here, but hold it in as long as you can.
Oh, fuck that.
And I didn't get out of the hospital.
Now that we're talking about it, I did. Whenever I had salmonella, I mean, I was like 3, so it's very vague, but I remember something going in my ass.
Yeah,
I remember like screaming in a like, it's like one of my first memories.
Yeah.
I remember waddling down the hospital hallway, being like, I gotta keep it, I can't keep it.
Oh, no, fuck. Yeah, I lasted about 30 seconds. I was like, fuck you, I'm doing this. I've had I had the other one, the only time I've ever been constipated was when I was in the fucking burn center. Because I didn't eat, you weren't really eating much. It is what it is, but they're putting you on the pills and the fucking meds and shit like that. It was, I'll never forget, it was like Sunday, like in the witching hour. And I hit the bell and I'm like, hey, my stomach's bothering me. Like, can you send somebody in? And then she's like, okay, we'll go, whatever. Hit the bell. I'm like, I gotta go. Like, this ain't gonna work. And they're like, all right, like, what are the two? She's like, we have 2 options. Like, we give you like a bedpan, or we can make this like commode thing. And I was like, just give me the commode. And they're like, okay, we'll go get it. And I hit the bell again, like, get it here. Like, I don't know if you understand. Like, I'm sweating. Like, it's bad. Like, constipation is I really feel for people who had it. So anyway, they wheel the fucking thing in. I like leap, and I keep my legs straight. I like do it was the most acrobatic thing I've ever done. I leap with my legs straight, like this, to the commode, like boom, like just fucking amazing. And then it's hard, like it's tough coming out, and I am screaming, sweating. It's literally like pushing that fucking champagne bottle, like out, and you're crying. And they closed the glass doors, but there was such a cut that like I was still screaming so bad.
All right, Mac Jones. Mac Jones has been benched.
That is the worst when they pill you up.
Then it's bad because I'm trying to figure out the process of like who's cleaning this up, and these poor fucking, I couldn't look them in the eye.
They throw you
John, literally, and they're like the 2 nurses. I'm like laying there like this, and I just keep going like, I'm sorry. I was so embarrassed. It was the worst thing. Plus, then, like, whatever. Tom's gonna get mad. But you're in a closed box that they shut the doors. It smelled like a fucking bomb went off. So now I gotta wait 40 minutes to before I can let these fucking poor girls back in here. Like, it was a fucking 3-hour process. Anyone who's constipated, I feel for you.
That's when you go to the hospital, you get a surgery or something like that, and they fucking pill you up and morphine you up, and then they before they let you go, and they're like, we got to make sure your bowels work, you're not constipated, all that, and you're just laying in bed, like basically trying to shit the bed, so you can get the fuck out of there. You're like, I just want to leave.
My brother had the line of the fucking thing though. He goes, I don't care if those girls were paid $3 billion. He goes, that nothing's worth that, you disgusting animal. He goes, having lived with you and your thoughts on this, he's like, those girls aren't paid enough. I was like,
Rico was hammering the pots and pans in 2020.
For what?
Thanking the nurses.
7
Yes,
p.m.
yeah.
We should get that back going, the 7 p.m. cheer. Mac Jones bench, Bailey Zappe starting. Fights. As our resident Patriots fans on this panel, what is your thought, Patriot fan?
I obviously Mac is not the guy. That's pretty clear. I'd stick with him because I think it's also pretty clear that the goal for this season is now high pick. But Zappe's nothing special either. I said this last week when Mac got pulled at halftime. I don't want to say the Patriots broke him, but he's been broken in New England. He obviously won't work there anymore. But something happened this year. The first 2 games of the season, they played 2 very good teams. I think it was Dallas and was Dallas game
Miami.
4? It was Dallas.
No, they played Philly and Miami.
Philly and Miami first 2 games. He showed flashes. Both games he had one egregious turnover, but there were times where it's like, all right, Mac's got the ball on a string right now. And then even in the first half of that Jets game, he played well. He had one ball in particular. I remember sending a tweet being like, Mac Jones is becoming the guy before our eyes. He had one ball down right side of the field into the scoring zone, into the red zone. And at halftime, they stopped trying, and he just never came back from there. I don't know what happened at halftime in the Jets game, but something happened there, and it ended Mac Jones' career in New England.
I feel like they've done this. I'm glad they're just benching him. How many times are they going to start him and then bench him in half?
Dude, I think last week was the 3rd time he's been pulled this season.
I mean, they did it in London or Germany, wherever that was. I feel like they did it last season.
Yeah,
multiple times.
Well, last season was at least 2. I mean, he's not the guy. Maybe it'll be Caleb Williams. Maybe it'll be Drake May. But yeah, I think Mac Jones's career in New England is.
I thought Zappe was a stud.
Well, I said this last weekend too. He's a fucking Pro Bowler. The drive after we pull Mac, he comes in and scores a touchdown almost every time.
Yeah. He was exciting in Western Kentucky. I know you didn't watch that.
No, I did not catch that.
Fair. Totally fair. You have a life on Saturday. I envy you.
Well, for the boys.
Yeah, for the boys. Yeah, I envy you. But yeah, I also think, man, you got no wide receivers. I think Belichick's a little bit past his prime, which I know everyone's not going to want to like love. I just think it's a bad combo. Like, it's a situation of like
They're not a very good team.
They're not a good team.
Yeah.
And I'll admit Belichick's personality and how
he
runs
ain't
the
helping.
team.
Yeah.
You can't pitch to your locker room. We're not going to have fun and we're going to lose.
Yeah.
Like you got to pick one or the other, and obviously you're going to lose the locker room if you're trying to do both.
Right.
Old Family Feud host, Richard Dawson made women contestants take herpes tests before the show. He was the original host. He was always like kissing the female contestants on the mouth during show introductions. And according to a new book, he would have all their mouths inspected with a magnifying glass to check for sores, so he'd feel safe kissing them on the mouth. King behavior. I do this every time I go on a date.
I think this popped up on like Instagram or a blog, or maybe when TikTok first came out, and like I mentioned it to my parents. I was like, "Yo, this was like."
Oh, this is creepy. This montage is.
This is probably what I saw. He did it to every female. Yeah,
Even if they were ugly?
all what?
Even if they were ugly.
If they were ugly, if they were married, he did it in front of their husbands. They were all into it, and it was just normal.
Weird.
It was like, oh yeah, Richard Dawson, you go on
oh.
Family Feud, you kiss Richard Dawson. Excuse me? Like this was wild.
I'm not a kisser to begin with. So
Go on. Like you just don't like it?
I don't care for kissing. I think
When did that phase start? I think we're all in the same thing of the when you'd be with your friends all day in school, but then you would go out ice skating Friday night and you would say hello. Do you remember being like,
What?
shut the fuck up, Tommy?
What are you asking? Do you know fights?
When you would get in that phase where it was like customary to give a kiss on the cheek saying hello.
middle school. Middle school was
He's lost.
middle school was. I remember being
Fucking
in 6th
throw me
grade.
right into that bus like you did with the fucking puzzles.
I defended you in the tweet. I said Rico
Took a
was.
little goddamn while.
I was waiting for the challenge to end for spoilers.
There.
I remember 6th grade. I knew a couple girls in 8th grade, and like hugging in the hallway and a little kiss.
Every
was, like,
time that was
a big thing.
Yeah.
I remember in elementary school, people like the first time two kids would hug, a boy and a girl would hug, we'd like get in the schoolyard and we'd watch them hug for the first time.
That's the fucking horniest thing I've ever heard.
There was a kiss. There was a kiss on the cheek. Then you'd move up to kiss on the lips, and it was like here we
And
go.
you guys had an audience for all this?
Yeah, I was always in the audience. It was like a boy, and it's like, oh, they've been dating for a week, like they're about to share their first kiss. We'd all get in a circle, end of the day, it's like Brian and Courtney, they're kissing today, and yeah, it was electric entertainment.
I just think going to these great lengths of like I need to inspect their mouths in order to kiss them. It's almost like we were talking about with the letter, where like there's a lot of times in between, like there's passing through where something should go off in your brain, but maybe this is a little much.
I definitely should not send a letter.
Once you have a magnifying glass out checking lips, you're probably like, all right, maybe we've crossed the threshold here to this is theater of the bizarre.
What I want to know is if they did have herpes, like, can we go back and watch old episodes and see the girls he didn't kiss?
Yeah, he
like, or can
violated
you like
HIPAA?
pick out the herpes people, or did you just like, swap them out?
I think the women were like excited about doing it. It's like I got a chance to win $100,000 and I'm gonna kiss Richard Dawson. Like, wait, what? In front of my husband? Like, what the fuck's going on? 70s, man, wild times.
Ohio attorney suspended for pooping in a Pringles can. Ohio Supreme Court has been suspended an attorney after video surfaced of him pooping into a Pringles can and dropping it in a parking lot of a crime victim advocacy center. Court says his conduct called into question his fitness to practice law. Fair. Attorney says he didn't target any specific parking lot, but he has a bad habit, quote, bad habit of putting feces in Pringles cans and randomly throwing them from his car. Claims he pulled the Pringles prank at least 10 times this year. That's worse. If he was just like, yeah, I did this as a one-time thing to these people I don't like, but to be like, yeah, it's a bad habit, I can't stop fucking pooping in Pringles cans, that makes you even more unfit.
All right, so what if he got caught if he really had to go?
That's
fine. That's what he should have went with.
No, this should be.
I think if you have the opportunity of either shitting your pants or shitting like kind of, I guess, like sanitarily, I have no issues with doing that.
As someone who I have one time been stuck in a car and really had to poop, and I got off the highway I had a bag and I pooped in the bag, and then I quickly realized once I was done, I was like, why did I shit in this bag? Like this, because I went into the woods. I was like, now I'm just in the woods holding a bag of shit. I should just shit on the floor. I would think he would have that same realization, or the ground, that same realization after the first time he pooped into a Pringles can, where he should have been like, why am I holding this Pringles can? I should just shit on the ground. But I guess it's a prank, so it's why he didn't have that realization. I don't really know.
He's clearly purposely. If you do it 10 times, you're purposely shitting inside.
Yeah,
But what's the prank? Like,
I don't know.
Are people regularly seeing like cans of Pringles on the ground and being like, oh shit, I wonder if there's some left?
Yeah, I want some Pringles. It is yeah.
It's you see a Pringles can on the ground, you think trash, leave that alone.
Right.
Your brain doesn't go, whoa, maybe a Pringle in there.
Pringles can. Yeah.
The pop top keeps it like they're probably still good. Yeah.
They're definitely still good, but
I just don't get his defense being like, no, I do this all the time, guys. Yeah. No, this wasn't a one-time thing. I've done this 10 times.
You guys know, Bobby.
Year.
Like, this is what I do.
Yeah, if he would have just like, I really had to fucking go. Like, I think maybe he's still.
I like drop zone in quotes. Like,
I like that it was
drop zone, dude.
Drop zone that's unbelievable.
It is also impressive. Let's call it what it is. Like, it's impressive.
It's fucking narrow.
That's a fucking narrow hole you're hitting there.
It's also a 2-year-old video.
That's
So imagine this coming back like 2 years.
You thought you got away with it?
Oh, jeez.
Pringles can.
Or imagine like this guy's your current lawyer, and you're like on trial right now. This is my fucking lawyer.
I bet he's kind of like a serial killer who's been caught. Like I'm done worrying about it. Thank God. Where he's like every time he got a text from a buddy like, "Yo, did you see that video?" He's like, "They're talking about the Pringles can." I bet. And now that life is finally over for him.
Aftershow, surviving Barstool, 3 participants here. 3, spoiler alert, 3 people still in the game. Last night, we had the puzzle challenge, the accusations that Kirk was throwing it. It was very hard. I was building the other puzzle on our side, directing our team without the blindfold. Rico, unbelievable job listening to directions, getting them through like an assembly line to Dave. We were great with that. I struggled with the puzzle. I said on radio, I should have realized it was Factor sooner. I don't regret building it up 3D. A lot of Survivor puzzles on the real show do build like that.
That was not even just the 3D aspect of it, because I was blacked out, so I didn't see anything until last night. Even the fact that it was 3D or standing tall, fine, whatever, but it was a mess. Like, it didn't look like it was becoming, I think from the angle I saw, like that.
Well, that's just because I didn't have the pieces together.
But it just looked like you couldn't look at that in that fashion and be like, I'm nailing. This is definitely.
Yeah, no. I mean, because again, Survivor, it's like 4-word phrases that usually don't make any sense. So I was like, or fact or fiction. And I was like, oh, it's just fucking fact. But look, the bright lights. See, the man in the arena. When you're sitting there, it's tough, but we still got the W. People were accusing or.
I did laugh of Hank in the blindfold, being like, John, he's fucking us.
Yeah,
it's just like two idiots.
Kirk's sabotaging us.
He's sabotaging us.
We talked about this on Barstool Radio, but like, I took that information because actually, I said this already, but there was the very next block. Kirk was so wrong that I wasn't even in the right hole because I knew where the right hole was. That I was like, maybe he's right. Like this is, I knew it was illogical. There was no reason he would be doing it. But like the fact that he had me in the completely wrong box, I was like, maybe he's right. And I was like, I'll share this information with the class and see what they think of it. And I don't think there was ever a real belief that like Kirk threw it, but there was some scuttlebutt. Hank didn't. He says on the video, he's like, I don't think he did it. He says
when
it was
he
a Hail
whispered to
Mary.
you in the chat, like when he whispers at you in the challenge, that's got to be a real thing.
No, I think he told
There's
me
no
later.
way he's off the bat being like, I'm gonna think of this elaborate scheme to be like, let's
think he did.
frame Kirk.
At least that's how we maybe later he was like it
Yeah.
looks smarter for me if I framed it like that. But I believe I could be misremembering. I think Hank told me like I knew in this moment to start saving myself.
The question I should have asked you, because you were the only one who didn't have experience like me and John of feeding the pieces through. How good of a look did you get at knowing what to say in terms of passing it through? So like I guess that board goes out like what, like 3 feet?
Yeah.
And you're standing, you were standing in front of us?
I was standing on your guys' side.
Right. So you can't see.
I couldn't really see
Yeah,
far.
right. So like if we're when we have to tilt it or whatever, like you're working behind us.
It was tough. Well, yeah, it was tough with Jerry too because he was shorter. So like it was, there was one part where I'm like, Jerry, I think it's just fitting, and like I just couldn't really see from my angle.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know what I'm trying to say? Like if the piece is over here and I'm standing here and he's behind us, he doesn't have, and my hand's in the fucking way.
You can go to the other side, no?
I don't know if we
They
were
kept
allowed
like
to.
what we heard from audio. That right away, because like that makes the most sense. But then it's a bad camera angle because you're shooting his back.
Yeah.
Oh well,
So, like,
yeah.
I'm
So
almost defending Tommy a little bit, which is a one-way street as we see.
I defended you. I
but
said Rico. He
I-
was so fast with those.
I just think it's
pieces.
difficult, like putting.
I didn't get the ice skating right.
Put it this way: if you needed to tilt it like this, he might not be able to see that I needed to tilt it just on the angle.
Yeah.
Also, credit to the production team and shit like that with the game. Super hard because they had spots.
Rico, put your mic back on.
I thought I did. Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Hey, it's not your fault at all.
No. But sorry, credit to the production team for building that like when you get in these challenges and you just keep doing it the wrong way, you start then blaming the tools, not the fucking toolsmen. So like with that arrow, we were gonna get to that point where I'm like, this motherfucker doesn't fit. As it turns out, you luckily like
Right, like it
I don't
looked-
think we knew enough to flip it. We struggled with that first piece. That was really the only one we struggled with.
Yeah.
And
When you
then I
picked it
think
back
we
up
just
the
got lucky
second
that
time,
we picked
yeah.
it back up the second time the right way.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
we didn't, we would have been begging.
I
Like,
once-
it don't fit,
Because the
it don't
other
fit, it don't
pieces,
fit.
you could tell, all right, this piece isn't symmetrical. The arrow looked perfectly symmetrical.
Yes.
So it was like, no matter what, whether you do it this way or this way, like, it doesn't matter. It should fucking fit. I guess there was, a tenth of a centimeter off where it was just not shoving.
And that's what makes a good challenge, because then you start freaking out and you start blaming, and then it's it's chaos. So credit to them for purposely putting little kinks like that into the challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's been great so far, Surviving Barstool. 3 episodes in. If you have not watched yet, go watch. Like, the views are crazy. I mean, even like the first episode got hit with an age restriction, which
Second one
sucks.
too, I think.
I don't think so yet.
Oh, really?
I have friends who don't text me about any content that I do at all, and they're like, I can't watch enough of this.
Yeah.
Truthfully,
I think it's reaching like an outside, I think, almost Barstool bubble too, where people are just like, oh, this is a great reality
Yeah,
show.
it is. I obviously we were there for it, but like, even with all the hype, I thought I knew it was good, but I wasn't sure just how good. And then watching it now, where like there's so much I didn't know, and seeing all that, I'm like, and I'm obviously not really a reality guy, and I was like, this is entertaining stuff.
Arizona Bowl broadcast on CW. Dave found out through a tweet earlier, like CW Network or something tweeted out, like, we're partnering with the Barstool Sports Arizona Bowl, and Dave was like, this is the first I'm hearing of this. So I said, all Business Pete has taken Warsaw. He's got his troops. He's going into Poland. Like, this is.
Well, I imagine
power grab.
Dave's pretty pissed about it, because I would guess this changes the entire broadcast.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's see, has he tweeted any more about? I mean, being on YouTube where you could say whatever
Yeah, you
versus being
can't
on cable
swear,
TV
you can't do
is
anything. Like that
something Dave
has to
certainly
change
should have known
everything.
about.
Like I would guess that means
He hasn't said anything.
yeah, you can't swear, you can't do any like Barstooly type stuff, and I would think that
Kind of ruins, I feel like, the whole point of the broadcast.
yeah, like, take people who are good at this and just make them do cosplay real broadcasting. I don't know. That doesn't seem like the smartest thing, but I guess we'll see.
And then one last personal plug: go subscribe to my YouTube, please. Tommy Smokes YouTube. Yeah, no, I released my music video on there. I'm going to be moving all Smoke Show episodes over to there. So subscribe to Tommy Smokes. Just Tommy Smokes YouTube. Just my own YouTube.
yeah.
Subscribe to Healthy Debate. Subscribe to
build
Out
up
of
the
Order.
YouTube.
KFC Radio. Please on this. And last up, Jenks has been hired. Frank and Jenks, the dynamic duo who have been, I feel like, traveling together for
Look at that
a year.
Doctor's room.
Jenks has been. Well, what exactly is the role that you've been?
What's up, dude? Nice to meet
What
you.
is the exact role that you've been hired for?
I don't think that's been clearly defined. But
Makes sense.
basically, Frank's a superstar, and we just need to maximize that. So building sponsorships around Frank, partnerships around Frank, and really leveraging him as much as possible for the company.
So you're more of a salesman for him than like a Frankie?
Well,
You're like his,
definitely a Frankie.
You're like his everything.
I'm his everything. So I think the way you would say it is like consigliere, bodyguard, salesman, therapist, punching bag,
Trainer.
driver, personal trainer. Anything else, Frank?
We're looking at the early stages of planning a 30 ballpark tour next year. Of course, we're going to be going a lot of events here and there. I mean, we're going to be going everywhere. And then if I'm at an event and I want to go do a raw dog, he'll be there to help shoot it. He'll be able to
Help your raw dog?
Yeah.
It's John Madden meets Anthony Bourdain meets the Muppets meets Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
That is, I read
That's the
that in
pitch.
yesterday's blog. That is, that's a show that I would like to watch.
I have a question for you, Frank. At what point, because I feel like you're, you like people, but there's people you don't like. At what point did you and Jenks' journeys were like, oh, I like this guy, he could keep like traveling around with me? Or are you just neutral towards every human being?
I'm neutral till someone drives me nuts.
Okay.
So I haven't driven you nuts yet.
But it's good. I think
Wasn't a no.
I think this is going to be great. I think there's going to be some great content. And of course, we're looking to boost my YouTube channel. Frank the Tank Fleming. I'm trying to get up to. If I start getting that boosted, maybe I'll do more live streams. So get my YouTube channel boosted. It's all my archives are there. And when my 30 ballpark when our 30 ballpark tour happens, that's what archives are, and you're gonna want to go see it. So subscribe to YouTube.
Are you living near? Like I know there was a moment on the Dozen recently where you were just down on the couch. Are you living with Frank?
Yeah, no, I appreciate you clearing that up. So Frank and I are not involved in a romantic relationship. I don't live at Frank's house. But the thing about Frank, if you're like working for and with Frank, he doesn't do the 5-day, week. It's 7 days.
Right.
And Frank started this walking initiative where today we're going on walk 64. He hasn't missed one day, and there hasn't been one day where I've had to even nudge Frank. He's on top of it. So I commute out to Jersey.
Where do you live?
3-4 times a week. I live on the Upper East Side.
Jesus. That's a commute. So you're going to be in the office with Frank whenever he's here, 5 days a week or whatever, and then are you going to be going to Frank's on the weekends?
Yes, I'm with Frank every day. I don't have a social life, which makes me a perfect candidate for this role.
I mean, especially this time of year. Friday, Saturday is my weekend. Sunday, I'm usually here doing streaming.
So Saturday, Jenks is off the hook. He could.
No, I'm at his house Saturday.
Oh, okay.
I'll be there, early Saturday, right, Frank?
Yep, we're gonna do a nice walk on Saturday. We're gonna go everywhere, anywhere, any place, and then when we start traveling, we're gonna still keep the walks up. We're gonna go checking out museums. We're gonna be everywhere.
Will you ever grant Jenks a day off?
I don't want it, so he doesn't need to answer.
I don't think he was going to say yes.
Hardest worker at this company, man.
Yeah.
No, but the key is continuity for the fans. So if Frank breaks his walking streak, it's my fault. So we can't allow that no matter what. I was at his place Thanksgiving night. We got the walk done. I'll get to his place on Christmas, or he's coming to my house, and we're gonna get we're not. Nothing's stopping us unless one of our limbs break.
Dude, the Frank train is rolling.
Yes, it
I mean,
is.
people think Dave is tough on like Austin. I think Frank might be tougher on Jenks.
We're just wired the same way. Frank's not even
we got
tough on
Mikey also coming aboard too. He's going to be helping us sometimes. He's in Chicago, but he does a lot of the internet stuff for me, and he's going to be coming just to New York regularly. So it's
Like when Wahlberg came in. He's like, oh, that's my social guy.
Yeah,
that's my
yeah.
sneaker guy.
He's got a team.
it got a team.
When
yes.
you came on, Jenks, did you think it was? Were you shocked that Frank didn't have a dedicated salesperson or even a person who it seemed like was selling Frank?
Well, the truth is, I come from a sales background from more traditional companies,
Yeah.
you could say, where I just didn't know what the structure was here at Barstool.
Have you figured it out?
So it's kind of a fluid situation where we're trying to create a new way to go at this and be able to really maximize the potential. But when this started, I was just a big fan of you guys, and things just kept escalating. And then I realized I think I could actually help the company, not just have fun, but actually legitimately produce good stuff for the company. So fuck it, I'm quitting this job. I had a really good job, great boss and everything. But why not just go for it?
No shit.
Why not be at Frank the Tank's on
I
Saturday?
got a lot of now I'm with Frank the Tank.
Yeah, I think I inspired him with my "Never Give Me a Dream" speech.
That speech helped, and then I had a lunch with Steve and Che where he said to me, he at one point was doing part-time Barstool and something else, and he said he hit like a breaking point where he had to pick one or the other.
Yeah.
I don't think in any way he was encouraging me to quit my job, but that conversation helped quit that. And then I also had to do a call with my sales team while I was filming Frank doing a raw dog in Philadelphia. And I have video footage of that, and that was when it was like, this is getting too bad.
How long were you gonna go on before you were like, if you didn't get hired now, were you like? I assume eventually you would have had to be like, I can't keep following you around for free.
Yeah, no. Well, I think that's a good question, Tommy, because let's just be clear. When you change your whole life from like being 34 and by yourself all the time to living with Frank the Tank and like the energy around this man everywhere you go, there's a lot of personal ROI there. It's not like I'm some victim that was being taken advantage of. I wanted to be there and I loved it, and like I would do it all again. What was the question?
How much longer would you have kept it?
Yeah,
like, let's say Barstool.
So
my plan
was run my savings all the way down to zero, 15 years worth of savings, and then see how far banks would let me go on loans.
Jesus.
Okay.
And just force you guys to fucking hire me.
Well,
it kind of
worked.
Yeah. But no, I didn't have a backup plan because the other thing in like the corporate world.
What would be the backup plan to being Frank the Tank's assistant?
Yeah.
There's no parallel.
I didn't have a backup plan to ruining my credit score and running out of money.
Also, when you publicly quit a very good job, you're not the most like attractive hire for the next VP.
What is this 1 year gap on the resume where you were filming a man eating hot dogs and drinking soda?
With mascots dancing around. Yeah, no, I'm just.
that up on a resume though. You could be like social media head.
Yeah, social media expert, advisor.
High level personal assistant to top 100 influencer on the internet.
Yeah.
You could have made that work.
All right. Well, subscribe to Frank's YouTube. Anything else you guys want to plug?
Yes.
I think one other thing, tomorrow we're doing our second weigh-in. We did our first weigh-in after Frank had done 32 walks. Tomorrow will be walk 64, right? Or 65?
Today's 64.
Tomorrow's 65. So keep your eyes out on that. But just for the record, Frank is pacing right now to lose over 100 pounds in a year.
No
Wow.
shit. That babe, Frank.
You know, it shows.
he's
Frank,
really-
you really look good.
He's hard on himself, though. He constantly feels he doesn't compliment himself much, and he's fucking hard on himself. So appreciate everyone that gives him the love. And when we're on the walks, a lot of people encourage. But keep your eyes out. Tomorrow we'll have another update.
Yes.
Frank, you want to do a challenge with me? We'll spot each other. We'll be spotters. Starting January 1st, if you see the other guy drinking a soda.
No. No.
Because I got to come back too.
No.
Yeah, that's one of his big content series.
Oh, all right. Yeah, that's fair.
I will say in Frank's defense, because a lot of people chirp at him about the diet and say shit like, oh, you go for that walk and then you eat all the food. He is very subtly and quietly chipping away at the diet, very subtly and steadily going down on the sodas, more diet, less fucking all sugar, and like all the raw dogs and stuff. He takes like 2 bites and the rest goes out.
Yeah.
So he's working on it.
Other than reviews,
No.
No.
that's what I'm trying to do.
I can't do it. I can't drink water with food.
I agree with that too. I feel like I'm on I always said it. I don't want to feel like I'm on the Nathan's hot dog conversation.
He has been crushing body armors though on our walks.
Yes.
That's been his hydration walk.
Yes.
Walk
Good plug.
hydration.
Are they official sponsor of Frank the Tank?
Yes, they are. I mean,
All right.
not via me, via pre-existing Barstool people. Not
Streets comments.
I loved it. I had to tell him that I am real and I am spectacular.
All right, well, keep it going. Frank, you're doing great. Drinks are helping him a lot, and let's take this to the moon.
All right.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys on Monday, right? Today's Thursday? Yeah, see you Monday.